Hello. Bl'Artagnan here with a recurring world, the Yuna Heretics Shinryu fight. This is the final fight of the MtV challenge and... Ow! Jesus, I forgot how obnoxious these guys are. Jesus Lord. This is the final fight of the December Man to Void challenge, so we're bringing a team that fits those criteria. We got Core, Galuf, and Aranea. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit the like button on that video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you enjoy the content, want to see more like it. So these Sanctuary Keepers, I don't know if you remember these guys from when Yuna got her LDBT, but these guys suck. They're just kind of annoying and kind of dangerous in a lot of ways too. That recast is it's a like percentage attack functionally. It's kind of weird the way they do it, but it's functionally a percentage attack that can really hurt you especially if it hits back to back, and applies a shit ton of annoying debuffs. Full disclosure, I actually had to do several resets to get Core to be the first one to go, just so he could use the Yuna call to cleanse the party, because otherwise, you guys are in trouble. Galuf especially, because he gets locked out of his dodge buff, and it's just a whole mess. So why is Galuf here? Core as well, because this fight counters melee attacks with Verse Shot, which is a magic attack that will apply HP attack silence, which sucks. Galuf is here because he dodges that, which is pretty convenient. 60% of the time, give or take, which is not as convenient. Core is here to, well, he's a secret tool we'll use later, which is kind of funny to say about Core, given how he's one of the most busted units the game's ever seen, but you'll see why I'm bringing him in a little bit. For now, it's just like, oh, he's just here for off-turn, but it's a little bit stupider than that. And Aranea is going to be our FR of choice. She's also, in this case, our turn manipulator to make sure that the enemy does not get to use that recast again. Jesus Christ. Cannot afford to let that happen. So, the awkward thing about using Galuf here, he covers the party, which is great, and he's obviously immortal, which is great, and he dodges the attack most of the time, which is great. The awkward thing is that it's guaranteed hit, the break is guaranteed, so it keeps getting pushed back, and now we took the HP silence again, which sucks. So we're trying to figure out, do we cleanse now and risk getting HP silenced again? Or do we wait until the Core's next turn? We're going to do it now, though. Excuse me. And just, we're going to play the odds. You'll notice, by the way, that we didn't open with Core's EX, which is a little weird. The reason for this was I just wanted to minimize the number of burst shots we took before Galuf was able to get both of his Shirahadoris up. I actually don't know if that matters now that I think about it, but with Galuf, I had like some kind of setup stuff I had in mind, and I didn't want him taking too many verse shots, and so since Core's EX gives him his preemptive attack, which is AoE, that would always draw 2 verse shots. So I just used 2 of his skill 1s at the start of the fight, just to cut down the number of verse shots we took. And as you can see, it paid off because we only took 1 HP silence, thank God, and we are now out of cleanses. Oh God, these guys are really annoying, especially if you bring a bunch of melee units to the fight, like an idiot. You're supposed to bring ranged and magic units here, but who has time for that? I don't. The main reason is because I've used most of my good magic units and ranged units in the other parts of the fight. Heck yeah, I could have made it even easier for myself if I had just brought 8 instead of Galuf, but no, I had to use them in Transcendence, didn't I? Yeah, Vaughn's spoken for, Edge is spoken for. I actually cleared this with Edge and then realized, oops, I already used him. And I'm probably only going to have time to post 1 video here, with the holidays coming up. So I figured, let's make it count, let's make this the actual Man to Void challenge, so we went back and reran it with Aranea. We're actually summoning now, before the Force time, which might be a little weird, but the enemy has one very interesting mechanic they chose to go with, which is kind of my least favorite mechanic in the game, sort of, which is when they mess with your buffs, because at 90, 70, 50, I want to say 30, 20, and 10, Jesus Lord, they will do Concentrate, in which they give themselves I think that's a Brave damage up buff, I forgot to check it. They apply HP damage taken up to you, that's the frame debuff we all are carrying, reduce their debuffs by 2 turns, and reduce your buffs by 2 turns, which is just annoying. And so Galuf, we really don't want him losing any of his buffs, especially his LD buff, but any of his buffs really. So we're going to go ahead and use the summon to refresh all of his buffs before we go into Force time. Well, most of them anyway. You also might have just seen me do something a little weird there. I just use Edge base call on Galuf, and you're probably thinking, Blart, what the heck? Galuf's a dodge unit, why did you use the dodge call on the dodge unit? And the reason is, as I mentioned, 60% chance, and I've been living and dying trying to run this fight with this team by Galuf getting hit by that HP silence a second time. So I decided, you know what, let's cut out the middleman here, and for the first time, we're just going to have Galuf get 100% evade versus magic attacks, thanks to Edge. Redundant, maybe, but you know what? It got the job done. So we're a bit of indecision here, trying to figure out what to do with core. We're going to go ahead and refresh the skill 2 buff. There's a decent chance his EX is going to fall off during the first time, but we can just bring that back. So this is going to be sort of an off-turn damage FR situation, sort of, kind of. It's going to get really dumb pretty soon. Not quite yet, though. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and you'll see with the Sid Rain's call on RNA, we actually use that to turn manipulate Galuf, because as you see, he gets pushed back hella bad, and we wanted to make sure he had time to refresh his various buffs and things, so we would use this range call to pull him up. We don't need to do that anymore, though, because we're going into the Force time. We're content with what Galuf has. He has his EX buff's probably going to fall off, but he doesn't need that because he has Edge. So as long as he has his physical dodge and his LD, he'll be doing his double counter, which is what we want here. Actually, no, he won't even be doing his double counter because they're magic attacks, so forget that. Basically, we just need his LD buff. That's all we need. We got the Edge. Refreshing Core's EX buff. We should have actually probably refreshed, reapplied his preemptive attack, because we want that on RNA. Because, well, the degeneracy I mentioned is, at this point, we want everyone to be doing melee attacks. It's important that we do this, because every time they do a melee attack, they go out of break status and will attack Galuf and get countered. And RNA is currently the only FR in the game that will give you delicious FR boost for off-turn breaks. So we're just going to go ahead and take advantage of that. Galuf with the... He actually counters on the concentrates too, which is funny, just free damage. That'll come up later too. We're going to go ahead here, and thinking about it, doing a little counting in our heads, and we see the covers on our allies are about to run out. We really don't want that running out during the, once they pass 50%, because then Core is going to get blown the heck up. So instead we're going to go ahead and let his EX buff fall off when Concentrate hits, refresh the cover, and refreshes critical LD buff. Excuse me. Critical both because it's important and because it gives him crit chance. Anywho. We're at this point, this is the setup. This is what we wanted to have happen. We did want Core to have put his buff on RNA by now, which is why I said I shouldn't have EX'd earlier, because then we could have gotten even more of those goofy Galuf counters on RNA's attacks too. So we'll get there. Something I also figured out with RNA is she has short buff duration, which is rough in this fight, especially because I actually don't know what any of her buffs do or where any of them go. So I'm just pressing buttons and hoping that I refresh buffs along the way. Oh, man. Best player in the game, hashtag. Shoutouts to Raw Life. Into the sky. There we go. We got some launches. Could have gotten more launches if I used Rain's Call, but whatever. We're impatient. Galuf is just taking verse shot after verse shot after verse shot. This is obviously the way the game was intended to be played. Couldn't say that with a straight face. But anyway, we got 30% to go, 3 turns left on the Force, but we are jacking that gauge all the way to the roof. Look at that, 800%. Which, with only 3 turns to go, may not seem like the best given what we have access to in the game, but like, keep in mind, every time we're going to be acting from this moment on, we're going to be drawing 2 additional counterattacks. Look at that. Okay, yeah, we're chunking them. We're chunking them. Oh, one last thing that they do, beside the recast and the attacks and all that. Oh, during their Force time, just so you know, they insta-kill anyone who goes under 30%. He didn't let that happen here, but now you know. They do Kuraga after 10%. That's what they do. Which is, you know, kind of annoying, but we'll be okay, I think. First shot. First shot. Unfortunately, cover fell off, as I mentioned. The debuff, or the buff duration reduction is pretty bad. Luckily, they hit us with one last concentrate, because we went below 10% again, and that gave Core what we needed to blow them up. So there you have it. Yuna, all the buffs are gone. God, they're all gone. I hate that mechanic. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I really did enjoy the Manta Void Challenge this month. I hope you try it again next month. Check the description if you need more information there. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Happy holidays. Adios.